see outside, we are approaching the Ouachita Mountains. Slowly getting closer. The area is getting a bit more trees. So we are nearing our site. It is 8:51. So we've still got about 35-40 minutes before the water drop. But the drive is progressing. I'm ready to get out of the car already, but just have to wait a little bit longer. So we reached our water stop, but on the road there, you can see that we have quite a bit of water standing in our way. So we're going to attempt to take my car over there and see if we can get 2 miles down the road, drop off our water, and then we're going to continue down on the trail. Quite a nice day outside right now, about 59 degrees, so the weather is perfect. Just hoping we can get through there. We were hoping there'd be enough water, and well, I guess there is, so we'll take you along with the journey and see what lies at the end of the road. So we're getting a little closer to the water here. You can see it over there. Some of the trees are touching the car, and we're just going to grab my dad, and he's in the car behind us over there. So he'll come in, and we'll see if we can make it here. Worst case, we have his car to hopefully pull mine out if we get stuck. Seems like we got a couple 100 feet of water, and then we should be good to go. Well, we just crossed the water once, but of course my dad forgot to bring the water with us and the GPS. So now we're going to cross the water a second time, and hopefully this time we actually have the water. I see it being loaded in along with what looks like, and the GPS being loaded in with what looks like a burlap sack. So we're going to attempt to do this one last time. So we're now attempting to cross the water, time number 2. Oh. As we're bumping along. Our cameraman is a bit unsteady.
It's a little hard to hold this steady in this.
This is a fine Arkansas road.
Yeah, the very best.
Now we travel 2 miles down the trail to find our water. So the water cache has been dropped off way over there by a rocky outcropping. We've gone 2 miles in, and right over here you can see our trail. So it goes from down there to over there, so we'll go along with it, and there's quite a bit of empty space for hammock camping everywhere. Not much underbrush, so it looks pretty good. So we'll catch up with you once we get onto the main trail, and then we'll begin our journey. So we've reached the Big Brushy recreation site. We're just getting ready to unload our backpacks from the cars. We've got about a, 1-minute walk down over there towards the trail. So the weather is quite nice. We still have a bit of cell phone signal here, so we checked in and everyone made sure that we're live. So here's our sign over here, Big Brushy Trail Complex, and this eventually goes into part of the Ouachita Trail. So we're gonna have some fun. So we're gonna get on our backpacks and start down the trail and have a good time. So my dad just took out some brownies for the road, some of those little cosmic brownies, so we're going to enjoy those shortly. So my dad has now got his hat on. It's a nice Bora sun hat of some sort. So we're just going to finalize all of our packing and then be able to head out on the trail. We decided to leave our jackets though, at least our fleeces, and just bring our small down jackets because the temperature is going to be quite nice. It's extra weight. He's giving me extra weight.
I have the other one.
Excuses. So this is a key lesson of try your gear before you come out. Dad has now got one hiking pole that doesn't actually want to lock. So now he's going to have a stick and a pole, unless he can figure out how to get it to work. He's been struggling for about 3 or 4 minutes now.
That is so strange.
He says he tried it ahead of time. No one actually has proof of that though. So we're going to watch him struggle for a little bit longer before we get in the trail. Hopefully we can do that before noon, or we'll be eating lunch sort of in the parking lot. We'll find out. So we've had the first casualty of the trip. The microphone I was planning on using. Second casualty after the hiking pole. The microphone sort of connector I had built decided to break on me, not 30 seconds into the trail because I was too lazy to buy the $5 connector. So now I'm gonna have to figure out some way to jury rig it once we get to our first camp of the night. But I guess for the hike on day one, we'll just use the GoPro audio and hope that it's not terrible, but we'll find a way to hook up the other one at some point. So we're just marching parallel over there to the river, and then on the other side of us is actually a highway, which we can hear the cars roaring by, but that should only go on for about, I don't know, a couple miles, and then we'll turn southward and head deeper into the woods. So we're just gonna follow along on the trails and see where they take us. So we've come to the first river crossing of crossing Big Brushy Creek, and Dad is taking it quite slowly. He's planning his route carefully. At least he's got waterproof boots. I just have trail hiking shoes, so we're gonna see how this goes. He's got one foot on the rock. He's gonna have to make the leap of faith soon. 3, it's coming. 2, 1. No, he didn't do it. Shortly, he will cross. I guess we're gonna take our shoes off and try again. So I've made it across barefoot. That water is freezing cold. It was about, I don't know, 33 last night, so I guarantee you that is just ice cold water. So the first river crossing was a success. Dad is over there taking off his shoes, and we'll see if he can make it any better than I could. So he's just getting ready to go now. He's rolling up his pants, and then he'll be off. It looks like it should be an easy crossing, but the rocks are slippery and the water is freezing cold. It's about what, 15 feet across? Yeah. It's about 15 feet across. My feet are just cooling off, or I should say warming up. So here he goes for his first step into the frigid, icy abyss. Slowly taking his first steps. His foot is about to go in the cold water. He doesn't want to slip. And his foot's in. Do you not have any nerves in your feet? He's making it seem easy now, going across, until he gets to the slippery rock right there with all the rapids going across it. He's trying not to slip. He's only got about 4 more steps till he's home on the other side of the river, and then our quest continues. It's closing in on the riverbank. And now he made it across. Well, the great white hunter has survived the river crossing. He's now over here drying his feet. You can see down there where we came from, and the trail obviously is right here. There are the blazes going one way, and there they are going the other direction. So we'll dry off for a little while, and then we'll keep hiking. And I don't even know what time it is, but we'll get hungry shortly, within an hour or two, I'm guessing.
11:16.
It's 11:16 apparently, so we'll be on the trail and then eating soon enough. So after crossing the river, we've now come to yet another river down there. We're quite hopeful that we don't actually have to cross it yet, because our feet have just dried off and we just got back into our shoes. And these rivers are slowing down our time considerably. We're probably at a quarter mile an hour, according to our GPS, I'd imagine, but we'll have to see. For now, we'll just keep carrying on and following the blazes. You can see going up ahead there that they just sort of continue off into the early, or I should say late winter forest in Arkansas. So there's a log over here that we're going to attempt to cross on to get across this section at least. It doesn't look terribly rotten, although it does look quite deep, so if it breaks, we're going to have the biggest guy go first. Just in case one of us falls in, at least, you know, I'll be dry. So, yeah, here we go. A little wet right there?
What's that?
Little wet right there?
Yeah. I think we're better off doing that. What's going to happen is this is going to go too deep. It's not going to give you any support. You're going to get out there.
I guess we're giving up on the log. So, we're heading back up to where the trail says to cross, because apparently this one is just too deep, and if we go any farther, our poles won't reach the ground, and then we'll be sort of doomed. Fall in the water, get freezing cold, and have our trip ruined. So we're just gonna go get our feet wet on this side. Hopefully it's not too deep and none of us fall, and we all have warm feet at the end of the day. So here we go. Right through here. Here we go for river crossing number
You can
2.
hook your shoes over your neck like this. That's the other thing they do.
Well,
Just don't fall.
I guess tying my shoes over my neck is the next step of this river crossing. With not falling being an essential part of it.
Yeah, it would rather suck if you took your shoes off and then fell in and got them soaked anyway.
Oh, this looks stupid. It's really cold.
Don't fall.
You should probably roll your pants up a little more.
Well, they need to be taller than knee height.
Getting real close.
And this is the shallower part.
Yes, so. Man, there's some current going on here.
What happened? Don't fall. Oh, just don't fall.
It's cold.
So,
Right. Pretty good toss. Just rip right across. Maybe you don't even want to balance on the big rocks. Just sort of stay on the flat ones. That way you can't fall anywhere.
yeah.
I believe I got my pants wet.
What's that?
I can't believe I got my pants wet. That's one side anyway.
If the water were lower, this would go
Even about 6 inches would be nice.
6 inches would be nice.
In fact, how good your waterproof boots did you now?
Yeah, well, last time we had a lot of low river crossings where you could sort of bounce your way across. This time, not so much. Relatively speaking, the rocks are fairly smooth.
Yeah, they are smooth. I mean, they can't really hurt you, but
Well,
unless you fall off them. So we found a large creature in the pack. Not sure what it is. It's moving. I think it has a brood that's trying to nest in his backpack. And we'll let it be on its way. And now it's been disrupted. So we've rested up from our river excursion number 2. And that was near dangerous territory for me, but we all survived. So we're going to continue following the white blazes for a little bit and stop for lunch probably another half hour after we've gone probably about 100 steps. So let's carry on with our hike. So this is the first time we've hiked for a solid 10 minutes or so without encountering a river. We're hopeful that it'll stay this way for a little bit so we can actually make some progress since we've barely hiked at all. The trail here at Big Brushy Creek is quite well maintained. There aren't too many big sticks or trees there. It's just the, as you can see over there, multiple rivers that you have to cross. All of the reviews said that this place was supposed to be bone dry. But as far as we can tell, that's not the case. There's water everywhere. We're crossing little muddy pits and there's moss all over the ground. So the trail is definitely, at least in mid-February, not dry, and there's ample water for at least the first mile or two on the trail. We'll see as we get farther in whether or not that continues, as we had a water cache that we showed earlier, just in case we need some additional hydration. But we'll find out. For now, we'll just keep walking as we approach our lunch spot, and we'll unveil what we have to snack on. So we're now coming up to our first trail marker of some sort. We just checked the GPS and we've gone about 1.25 miles and it's right around noon, to give you an idea of how. And what time did we start at?
Probably about 10:15.
So we started about 10:15, so we're not making very good time with all the river crossings. So this says FSE 15. On the other side, Brushy Creek Trail, 1.3 miles. I'm guessing that's about how far we've been since we came.
1.25 miles just down the trail.
So now we know, and there's some sort of a road over here.
Which way on the map do we need to go on the road?
Which I'm guessing we're following the road. I think we're going left
I think so too.
on the road. So we're going to check the map, and then we'll figure out where we're headed.
At the end of this trail, that was a road.
Yes, because I know eventually we follow a road for a little bit.
Yep.
Well, I'm fairly certain this is a theme of the trip. As you can see behind us, there is now a third river crossing with possibly a fourth directly after it. So we're going to take our shoes off again and continue down the river, and then we're going to have lunch. So as you can see, this is a very dry trail. No water in sight. Make sure you bring gallons of the thing because, I mean, look, you die of dehydration right here. All right, we're going to cross again and then carry on our way. So as a post-river crossing snack, we're eating our brownies with nuts. One for each of us. There's a lot of river crossings. We're really hoping that that one over there we don't have to cross, since it's, I don't know, 20 feet wide, 25 feet wide.
Very deep.
And it looks very deep, so we're gonna sit here and enjoy our brownies for a while, and then wander a little bit down the trail and see what's over there. So here's the river I really don't want to have to cross. It's mighty big right around here. I'm guessing it's all due to the recent rains, but it's yeah, not something I'd rather avoid. But the trail actually continues up there, and we crossed over here. So we're just gonna sort of climb our way up and get through this little bit of brambles here and back on the trail. You can see the white blazes up there and all the logs, so we're on the right path. So we're just gonna keep going a little bit, and the brownie gave us a little bit of energy for now, but we'll have to eat some lunch here shortly. Well, that tree broke up. So it's rotten on the inside and it's just kind of leaning up there in one of those other pine trees. Here comes the great white hunter pulling up the rear. Continue following the blazes. So carrying on with the tradition of this trip, we've now finished our 5th river crossing right here, and I'm hopeful this is the last one. Apparently Dad has been hiding a ShamWow to dry our feet the whole time, and I've been air drying them. So hopefully this is the last river crossing, because right behind me you can see it's pretty much straight uphill for a while. So we're gonna have lunch right here. We have a nice little spot to filter some water out and have a hot lunch, and then we'll begin our uphill climb for a bit and see how far we can get. The sun's still pretty high in the sky. It's not too late, so we've got a lot of hiking time left, and we'll see what kind of camping spot we can find up ahead. But for now, we're going to start preparing lunch and filter some water. So we're on our way to get water. So for our lunch, we're having moon cheese, which is a freeze-dried cheese. We're gonna have some trail mix, and we're also gonna have some sort of a Mountain House chicken meal. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it should be pretty tasty. So we got a nice little area here to grab some water. There we go, right by the tree here. So hopefully all the bacteria sort of stays away. We're gonna boil it, of course, first before we use it, and we have Sawyer mini filters as well to top off our water after the fact, so we don't have nasty boiled water taste. Hike back up the hill here and use our canister stove to get the water boiling, and we can prepare for the meal.
Okay, so we got to start this with a piezoelectric lighter, an Optimus.
We have fire, and we can boil our water happily.
It's level enough, this won't slide off.
So for anyone interested, this is what the moon cheese looks like. It almost tastes like a combination of sharp cheddar cheese with a bit of moist Cheez-Its. Pretty good. Tastes like got a little oil in it from the cheeses. A good start to lunch. So here's a close-up of our chicken and mashed potatoes that we're going to have for lunch here. It's 2 grilled chicken breasts with rib meat and mashed potatoes. Inside you can see the big pieces of chicken in there and the little bits of mashed potatoes near the bottom. So our water is boiling, and we'll have it soon enough. 210 calories and 2 servings per container, so doesn't weigh very much. It should be pretty tasty. Here's our other lunch item, The survival trail mix with raisins, almonds, cranberries, apricots, pistachios, golden raisins, and cherry-flavored cranberries. Not sure why they just wouldn't put actual cherries in there. Southern Grove, so this should be pretty tasty as well. Kind of our lunch dessert, so to speak. And here's our empty moon cheese box, or bag. So if you look at the ingredients, it literally has one ingredient, cheddar cheese. It's the only thing in this, so it's just freeze-dried cheese. Quite tasty though, would recommend eating it. Pretty good snack on the trail. As Shug would say, we got a ball. We're just checking over the GPS to see exactly where we've come from.
So I think the straight line is where we drove from where we dropped off the water, and then the wavering line is all the line we've hiked today with 5 river crossings.
So in reality what it means is we haven't actually hiked very far. We took our boots off 5 times and now we're finally sitting down to lunch at near 1:30 in the afternoon.
2.25 miles.
We've gone 2.25 miles, that's it. That's pretty bad. However, our pot is bubbling nicely and soon we'll have delicious chicken and mashed potatoes in our bellies.
Alright, so we need about 1.5 cups. And we've got about
He's a master at measuring liquid.
2 quarts, or quart rather. And let's see here. That's getting pretty close, just a little bit more. I think that's going to do it right there. So I'm going to set this down.
And now we wait. So of course now Dad cannot find the silverware, so I have my handy dandy spork from my GSI Kettlist that we're going to use to stir in the mashed potatoes. So little did I know there was actually a separate packet of mashed potatoes that go with our Mountain House meal that we can stir in. So now we can go figure out how to do that. Chicken looks like it's rehydrating nicely in there. Still toasty warm. Open this up. Attempt to not spill it everywhere. And here we go.
One thing I was looking for.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
All the way in the bottom.
Well, he found his silverware finally, after I had to break out my spork, my emergency spork. Of course, I had to do all the hard work. So let's get ready to eat this. So we're now enjoying our chicken and mashed potatoes. It is quite tasty. The chicken is moist, and the mashed potatoes are delicious, although my spork is apparently not snapping together fully, which causes troubles when trying to eat chicken.
Chicken's actually not bad at all.
Super good. You can see the remnants of our lunch feast. We finished off chicken and mashed potatoes. They were delicious. They could have used a bit of pepper, but we're too lazy to get the pepper out of the sack. We've eaten our moon cheese, and now we're gonna have a bit of survival trail mix. And after that, we'll pack up and head back up the trail for another couple more hours till we find a suitable camping place. Probably gonna filter out some water here to refill our 1 water bottle that we have polished off so far, but we really haven't been drinking much. The temperature has just been pretty much perfect. A bit cloudy, not too sunny. And it's been an overall pretty good hike for the first half day or so.
What a beautiful day.
Mm-hmm. So we finished lunch and now we've begun the long hike uphill. So we'll see how far this takes us. We have about I think it's a 12 to a 13 mile hike total over 2 days, so it shouldn't be terrible. Or 3 days, I guess, 2 nights. But at our current pace, apparently we need to move faster if we plan on finishing it all, or even getting to our water cache. But we filled up our water with the last of our boiled water from our chicken and mashed potatoes, and we have about 8 liters of water on us, so we should be good for at least another day. So we're gonna continue hiking up here and see whatever we find on the trail. So we've now hiked for an additional mile or so. We're pretty much on the uphill portion. We're on the mountain trail now, and we hiked up a road for about a half mile, a dirt road, and didn't see anyone on it. But now we're pretty much just going straight up, and you can see behind, I have just the tree line going way up there, which is where we're going in the end, I'm guessing. But down there is kind of where we came from. And then up here is where we're going. So we're just taking a little bit of a breather by one of the trail markers, and we'll continue on once we've rested a bit and get to our campsite. So we finished hiking up the mountaintop trail, and now we've come to the trail here where the white blazes meet the blue blazes. So the Ouachita Trail is going kind of this way. So it's about a little after 3 o'clock, and we're full up on water, so we're probably going to find a place around here to camp for the day, since we've had a lot of uphill and water crossings, enough for one day at any rate, and we still got 2 more days of hiking and tonight and another night of sleeping. So we're going to try to find a place to set up camp, pitch our hammocks and put our tarps up, but maybe not even that, since it's not supposed to rain, so we might not even put the tarps up. Then we'll start thinking about what's going to be for dinner, collecting a fire for collecting fuel for our fire tonight, and then we'll see what goes on. You can still hear a few planes, but other than that, it's pretty quiet up here. But boy, that was quite a last 20 minutes of hiking. It was just kind of solid uphill all the way. So let's go find a campsite and see if we can find some place that doesn't have any brambles or poison ivy. So we've now reached the campsite of the first day. We're going to set up hammocks from trees over there to over there, and one from over there and over there. We're going to be able to set up camp here. We just sent out our text messages to let everyone know that we're still alive. So not a terribly tiring day, but uphill climb was kind of long. Now it's just a matter of setting up our hammocks, getting our rain flies up if we want, and staking everything down. So we'll come back in a sec once we get all those set up, and then we can begin to hunt for wood and get our fire going. So we've now got the majority of our shelters prepared with the hammocks up and the rain flies up. We didn't think we'd need the rain flies, but apparently not. But a few minutes ago we figured out that there's going to be rain, so we put them up, and it started raining for about a couple minutes. We put them up, and then as soon as they're up, the rain stopped. But what can you do? I guess that's just the way it works sometimes. So we're going to settle in and unpack the rest of our things, and then we'll continue on with setting up camp. So we've now got our little shelters all set up, and got our camp chairs and piles of wood, and we're putting on the camp feet now. We're not sinking in the mud. We've done that enough times, so we don't want to do it anymore. So it rained on us for a minute, and well, we solved that problem with our rain tarps, and now we've all pretty much settled in. I had to get out my jacket a little bit because it was getting just a bit chilly. But we'll warm up shortly. We're going to get our titanium ember lid out and start a little fire here to warm up a bit. And we'll go from there. So it's just raining a little bit, and we were trying to start a fire, but now the ember lid's apparently disappearing somewhere as it's being taken in away from the rain, and our wood pile is getting rained on. So we'll see how long the rain continues. It seems to be going on and off, but for now we can just kind of relax and enjoy the sound of the pitter-patter on top of the tarps.
Nice here. Sun finally came out. It was raining just as we were setting up camp. So now all the tarps are wet. The ground's a little wet, but still the sun came out, should be pleasant the rest of the evening. So, going to be a pretty nice day.
Yep, we have a little fire here going, and we're going to make a hot drink at some point once the coals get going. We started the fire using a flint and steel and a bit of cotton, so that was kind of fun. And we're sitting here as some sorts of spiders are falling from the tree on top of us. One has landed on each of us so far. Our fire is warm, so we're all happy.
It's probably about 59 degrees out, which doesn't seem very cold, but kind of chilly with the damp air from the rain.
So we'll just watch the sun go down and prepare for dinner here in another half hour, an hour or so. So we're getting ready to start dinner. So we've got soup, buckwheat spices. We've got some premium chicken breast chunks and water that we're going to add to it. We've got our little ember lit fire going over there. And we've boiled up some water, or it's getting close to boiling at any rate. We're just going to add these things in, let them soak for about 15 minutes or so, and then dine like kings.
We'll have a little hot cider.
Yes, we're also having some hot cider, although it's sort of on the ground over there. It's a bit too hot to drink yet, but for being 60 degrees, it certainly feels really cold up here. But who knows, maybe it's just maybe all of the electronics and thermometers lie. So our stuff is done.
I'll take that bag of chicken, I'll lift this up, and you can pour the chicken in.
Time to add the chicken.
And I would just dump it in with the water too. Now you know why we have a big pot.
We have quite a feast going on right here. Been cooking for about, half an hour. It seems like it was a slow boil on this ember lit because all the wood was wet and rotten after weeks of rain up here.
We've been trying to come for weeks and haven't been able to because every weekend we wanted to come, it was pouring rain all day, every day.
Or freezing cold for one weekend.
Yeah. One weekend down in single digits.
So here's our Russian buckwheat with chicken and French onion sort of soup mix with noodles and things. Chicken noodle soup mix, sorry. So, looks pretty good. So we're just going to enjoy this. We just had some apple cider earlier, and we're going to have some chaga tea that we have for later tonight, and then a little dessert and off to bed. So we're going to eat this for a while and enjoy it before it gets cold.
Put your audio on, you can do it.
So for dessert, we're going to have our Chaussure milk chocolate and hazelnut wafers. They're made in Germany. So we're going to be enjoying these. We've just been sitting by our fire for the last few hours, sort of enjoying it. We had our meals, cleaned up all of our pots and things, and we're now sitting out to dry, so we're just going to enjoy this. And then probably get ready to turn in for the night. It's about, 7:30?
7:40.
7:40 or so, so not too late, but still doing well. We've got our, as we call them, beacons of Gondor over there, so we can find each of our 2 hammocks easily. We don't get lost in the dark. We're going to open this and enjoy some of it. So upon opening the box, you find they're actually individually wrapped little wafers. They almost kind of seem like Kit Kat bars, except better. It tastes good.
Thicker chocolate than a Kit Kat.
Definitely thicker chocolate. High quality Kit Kats, basically. They're good. So we're sitting here in the early hours of the morning. It's about 7 o'clock, and there was supposed to be a 0% chance of rain today, but it's been raining for about the last 2.5 hours pretty steadily. So we're just kind of laying here, a bit hungry. Don't really want to get out yet and do anything since it looks pretty pretty nasty outside. Been some thunder and lightning on and off as well, but mostly just kind of the pitter-patter of heavy rain on the tarps. Everything seems pretty dry inside. I got all my clothes and stuff under my tarp, so I'm not too worried about it, but at some point I'll need to go get the bear bag, which is pretty far over there, and get some food. For now though, I'll just kind of rest, enjoy the rain. So we're still sitting here in the rain. It's about another hour or so later. We're just sort of laying down, and one of the water bottles is being filled by rainwater, just so we don't have to filter water later. Hopefully we can drink it. But other than that, no idea when the rain's going to stop. Just listening to the birds twitter and sitting around, and I figure out that we left the chair outside, and one of them at least, my saw, a pair of leather gloves, and some pots and pans over by where we were cooking dinner last night, but should be fine. They'll all dry at some point. It's like another couple days. So we're hoping that within the next couple hours or so it'll stop so we can go and have breakfast, because we're all getting hungry now and want a hot drink. For now, we just wait. So we just finished up a breakfast of freeze-dried, pre-cooked scrambled eggs with bacon. They were pretty delicious. Another Mountain House meal. And to drink, we had some Trader Joe's pour-over coffee brewer. You just pour the coffee in here, and you can make it sort of strong or mild depending on the water level. So we had some of that, some Brazil coffee. That was also really good. We had some hot chocolate as well. Didn't get much video of it though, because it was still sort of raining and we were all cramped underneath my tarp by ourselves. So, oh well. Bear bag is kind of soaked. It's hanging on a tree. Yeah, we're just kind of sitting here now. We decided that we're going to hike down about 1.5 miles to get our water at our water cache, and then we'll come back up here and refill everything, have lunch, then we'll pack up, hopefully giving everything a chance to dry out, and then we'll continue down about 1 mile from the trail here, so it'll be about 5 miles or 4 miles today, and we'll set up camp another mile down the trail and prepare for our second night here. Hopefully it doesn't rain. I mean, it rained for a solid, I don't know, 6 hours or so. I mean, it kept going since about 3:30 or 4, and it was just pretty much solid rain. But anyway, we had a good time. Got my Revolt and my Revelation underquilt and overquilt, 20-degree quilts, and it only got down to about 45. So they kept me pretty warm, and I had it's like a Sea to Summit Arrows, but it's a, what does they call it? An outdoor nature hike. It's kind of the off-brand, but my God, it works very well. I deflated it a little bit, so it fits better in the hammock. My hammock is just a basic, I don't know, cheapy $20 hammock. And I got some snake skins on either side. You can see I just got some clothes hanging up here. They got a little wet during the night. Everything really got wet. And I have a nice little kind of a ridgeline thing here with all my tablet and phone and stuff in there, and headlamp kind of sitting on the top. But either way, we're gonna hike down pretty soon, make it to our water cache, and then we'll go from there. So we're here on the part of the mountaintop trail, I think, and we're going to our water cache after having breakfast at camp. And you can see over here all the mountains all along there. The first sort of good view we've had since it was raining and foggy this morning. So we're currently just hiking without any packs on, just to go down and pick up our giant jug of water and then bring it back to camp so we have enough water for the rest of the day. So we're going to carry on, and we'll climb down the mountain and see what awaits us further down the trail. So we're about a third of the way to our water cache now. Still traveling in the mountains, you can see behind us. So we're just gonna keep walking on, and we'll slowly make more progress. The trail is pretty good. A few rocks on here, but nothing terrible so far. So pretty easy, well maintained. We found our first log on the trail a little bit back, but other than that, all the trails we've walked on have been perfectly clear for now. So I'm just gonna keep trundling along and eventually reach our water cache. We found this interesting mushroom growing in the tree. I'm not sure what it is, but it certainly is cool looking. It's almost like a two-part mushroom. Very cool. So we're still hiking down the trail. It's quite a bit of downhill, which means we're going to be carrying the water all the way back up this, which should be fairly difficult. Apparently he's taking off his jacket now, getting a bit hot on the downhill. You can kind of see it's just sort of straight up and goes down over there and just up again back there, and big fall off with the sort of mountains in the distance. In the background there, sort of shrouded in mist. So let's keep going. So we're now approaching our water cache. We stored it up near some rocks over here. Quite a hike in though. This was not an easy 1.2 miles, so they say. Took us quite a while. It's over here somewhere, under our burlap sack that we brought. And there's our water. As long as you don't die getting it. Ready to go. And it's very heavy. Well, we're going to carry this back now. Wish us luck. So we were just on the trail and we found this U.S. Department of Agriculture Forest Service Ouachita Trail mile marker. So we were just sort of hiking back with our water. My dad did 10 minutes, now I'm on mine. And we're now sort of on a slight downhill. But we do know that we're in fact on the Ouachita Trail, and it is the correct one. So we're going to keep walking with our water and hope we make it back to camp alive, and that none of our stuff has been stolen. Let's get going. So as we're walking on the trail, we're crossing a whole bunch of different types of rocks. And they have all these different granite ones, or that look like granite at least, sitting on some of these rocks. This one, just some sort of a odd looking stone. Very interesting looking though. Kind of shiny. We'll put it back. And we're still carrying the water down. It's his turn now. So I'm resting and I'll have the final 5 minutes before we reach camp again, and then we'll break for lunch, having copious amounts of water, and then see what else is entailed for the rest of the day. But hike's going well so far. None of us has stumbled or fallen off the mountain edge, so can't complain about that. Back to the trail. So camp is in sight. I've still got the water, but thankfully I only had to carry it for about a minute before we got to camp. So we're just kind of going off trail here a little bit and put the water down. We can relax for a little bit. So that was a pretty good day hike. We got rained out, didn't get to go do the full loop, but at least we got to see half of it and sort of what's down there with some of the good views and everything. And now set this down and call it a day. So we're now back on the trail. We broke down our first camp after having a lunch of tuna on tortillas and peanut butter on tortillas with some trail mix. So we're hiking a couple miles further down on the Ouachita Trail, and we're gonna go down there and see if we can find a decent campsite for the night. That way we only have a few miles to hike tomorrow, so we can get to the cars fairly quickly. So beautiful day outside to be hiking. Temperature is perfect, probably in the 60s, I guess. Perfect t-shirt weather. The trail though is extremely rocky at this point. We're just going downhill now from sort of the highest elevation point of this part of the trail, and we're just sort of trundling along. But take a look at the rocks all the way along the trail and beneath us. The dirt's almost been worn away, so you can see again mountain views sort of on all sides of us. A little difficult to see through the trees, but they're there. So we're just going to follow the blue blazes for a while and see if we can't find another campsite. So we were hiking along our way to our campsite number 2, and we found this interesting tree. Looks almost like it's rotting, but very odd. Sort of this bright yellow color all the way up to the top. Very odd. It's kind of spongy texture. Well, another interesting find on the Ouachita Trail. We'll see what else we come across later on today. So we hiked a little bit off trail and found this sort of rock outcropping. And you can see all around us a nice view of all the mountains. The trails off that way a little bit, and there's another rocky outcropping we'll explore. The view is just phenomenal over here. You can see pretty much everything. All the different cloud patterns and where the sun's lighting and big trees, and it goes straight down over there through lots and lots of feet of rock. Alright, let's go check out the other rocky outcropping across the way. So across the other side of the trail,
Yeah, okay.
we'd found this other rocky outcropping. Much bigger than the last one, but we're not quite sure what's at the top or if there's even a way to get up there and see. Oh, maybe I can try to scale it here. See what's at the top. Let's see if we don't fall. Ugh. Well, maybe you can see what's over the top. Let me scale it and I'll see if I can take a look. So I couldn't quite make it up on the other place, but basically the rocky outcropping's over there, and this is what you see looking at the other side. So not nearly as good of a view, but definitely some interesting sort of green lichen covered rocks. Quite a bit of pine forest. So we'll get back on the trail now and continue on to our next campsite. So we found our next campsite for the day. The trail is over there past that hill, another couple hundred feet down that way. We decided to come over here to these two sort of rocky outcroppings, in between which you have this nice view over there. So this is where we decided to camp for the night. We're going to put some hammocks kind of between those two trees, and we're going to have another couple between this tree and one on the other side over there. So we're going to set up camp here, and then we'll see where we're going to start putting our cook place and camp kits and all that. We're thinking maybe on top of that hill, or sort of over here between these two trees, sort of in this area. So we'll catch up once we get camp fully established. So we had spent the last 10 minutes trying to get this branch all the way up from the top of there, because I wanted to put my hammock between these two trees, but it was sort of a dead branch hanging over there, and I didn't want to get my head smashed in the middle of the night. So with a bit of paracord and a stick, and about 5 different tries and getting it stuck, we sort of wrapped the paracord around it, threw it up over the stick, and then managed to just tear it off. And now it's on the ground, not going to hit me in the head. Now I have my perfect view for tomorrow morning. So we've now set up our camp, or at least one side of us has. The other side over there is almost done. So you can see we got our quilt all set up. One hiking pole to stake out one side, and all the rest are attached to trees. We got our clothes bag, little hammock or ridgeline thing, underquilt and overquilt. And so this is sort of the view I'll have in the morning. As you can see, all the mountains over there in the sunrise should come up right over there somewhere. So with luck, I'll be able to see it, and actually we'll hang down a little lower. So it should be a pretty good view. Backpack's down over there. So straight down there is a big just drop off. And then 2 sort of rocky mounds over there. There's my dad on that side, and we're going to set up our food area sort of right where the flat area is by those chairs. We're about to have some sausage and cheese shortly once he finishes setting up his hammock, and that'll be a pretty good snack to last us at least until dinner or so. But yep, the view's really good. We're pretty secluded from the rest of the trail, so we shouldn't meet any other people. We actually saw one person today as we were packing up camp, but that's pretty much been the only person we've seen since we started the trail. So all in all, a good trip so far. We're getting ready to have a snack, and we'll just relax for a little bit and enjoy the view. So we finally got everything all set up, and we also built a small fire ring here and got some firewood. Apparently have nice dry wood all over there by that ridge, and we took from the rocks. We took some of the rocks and put them over here. So we should be good to go for a small fire tonight. And over here we've actually got a snack. We're preparing some summer sausage, cheese, and crackers as part of our midday meal in order to fuel ourselves. And again, we're just looking out of the view over there, just watching the bright blue sky, and you see directly above us. That tree's not dead, by the way. We checked. It is alive. We took down, that's where the branch we took down from was over there. So we're just gonna sit here for a while and let's see the sausage up close.
Yes.
We have soppressata salami sausage. What kind of cheese do we have?
Asiago.
We have Asiago cheese, so we're gonna enjoy that for a while and maybe start our fire shortly once the temperature starts to drop a little bit. So here's a close-up view of our crackers with salami and cheese, Asiago cheese. So we're gonna see how good it tastes. It's good. 100% thumbs up. Deliciousness. Nice cheese flavor. So we're just going to enjoy this for a while and sit back and watch the sun, or I should say the blue sky, and see what other food calls our names from the food bag. So we're finishing up the last of our sausage and cheese, and then we're going to get ready to brew up some chaga tea since the chill of the sort of late afternoon is starting to roll in. We're still just looking out over the absolutely spectacular view over there as we eat our delicious food. So we're gonna start heating up some water shortly, have some tea to warm us up, and then see what else the rest of the night brings. So here's a preview of our Siberian wild harvested chaga tea that we're going to be drinking here shortly. We're going to use the GSI big aluminum pot to make it in. Looks like it's got a little bit of sugar already sort of in the bottom, so we're gonna heat this up and see how it tastes. Alright. Time for some chaga tea. So what model burner is this that we have on top?
This is a Covia Supralight, I think, or Ultra Supralight.
What kind of pot is this? Our GSI aluminum pot?
It's a GSI aluminum pot. It's a 1.8 liter, I think, so it's a pretty big pot.
It's even got the nice handle on the side. And this is kind of nice in that this actually stays up. It doesn't fall over, so you can pretty easily pick it up. So we're in preparatory mode for our Swedish log fire. We've just taken some paracord here and tied all these logs around a piece of log about this big that we cut off. So there's a center log in there, and it's sort of hollow in the middle. And we're just trying it to see how long it'll burn. Our chaga tea is still going strong over there. The water's being heated up. So this will be our starter fire for tonight, and then we'll feed it the rest of our wood to stay warm later on once it gets a bit colder. So our water's boiling. We've got our Siberian wild harvested chaga tea. There's our delicious looking water. Bit of tearing action, and the tea bag will go in. So I guess the water is turned down. There it is. Pop it in, put the top on, and then we wait. So the sugar is actually going to go directly in the teacups, and we're just going to pour the tea on top of it, and then it'll dissolve in there, and then we can have a sip. Sugar is in. Now comes tea, which almost had an accident by falling on the ground momentarily, or a few seconds ago.
Try that one. Hold that. Actually, grab. Yeah, hold it.
And there's our cup of chaga tea, which we will indulge upon shortly. So the chaga tea is cooled down a little bit. It's definitely unique flavored tea. I've never had anything like it. Dad described it sort of as clean tasting. I'd probably say it too, almost a little earthy maybe, but the sugar makes it quite delicious. Very good. Not like your usual peppermint teas or any of the fruit teas, something completely different. It is definitely worth a try. So soon we'll start our Swedish log fire and carry on to our next culinary adventure. So we're now getting ready to light our Swedish log fire. We've got an Esbit tablet because all the wood is sort of wet after our 6 hours of rain this morning. Got our little lighter over there, so we're just going to pretty much drop the Esbit tablet directly into the fire here and hope everything burns. So there's our nice big fat Esbit tablet. It's going to go right down in the center there. These are quite nice little lighters. They're cheap and you can buy them. Don't know if it started yet. And we have flame. And now we wait. With luck, in a matter of minutes, we'll have a nice roaring Swedish log fire and we can happily sit by it and warm ourselves up as it's getting a little bit chilly, as you can see by the jacket I'm wearing. So we'll be back. So here's our Swedish log fire in action. You see kind of burning almost like a torch all the way around there. Hopefully it doesn't melt the paracord too fast on the bottom. Probably should have used wire, but we didn't actually have any handy, so this is what we've got. You can start to feel the warmth coming out of it already, which is kind of nice. So we'll sit by it for a little bit and see how it progresses. Hopefully it doesn't fall apart and just hit everything we have. So now it's time to unveil our dessert and dinner options. So here's our ursack, and out of it we have a Mountain House home-style chicken noodle casserole, which should be quite delicious. Just add water. Should feed us both, I hope. What sort of things?
3 servings.
3 servings, so we should be quite full with that. And we're just sitting next to our log fire here. And what else do we have for desserts? A raspberry crumble, raspberry sauce topped with chocolate cookie crumbs. So that should be really delicious.
And that serves 4.
Now, is this a multi-part meal, or is that just a one thing, just to add water?
I don't know. We're going to find out.
Hopefully it's just a just add water. Some of those I know are multi-part.
Yeah, it's a multi-part, but it only cooks one part, and then you just sprinkle the chocolate cookie crumbs over the prepared raspberry sauce.
Oh, well good. That should be easy enough.
It
So
can be served hot or cold.
we'll be warming up some water and making those shortly. So here is our Swedish log fire in all its glory. We've stacked some other wood up there to dry it out since it took a while for it to get started, but man, let me tell you, without some heat we were just getting a bit more wood since we were going through our pile pretty quick. The sky over there is still quite nice. So we're just going to enjoy our fire for a little bit and then start adding water to our dinner. So we've just put the water on the fire for our dinner. We decided against using the stove because we want to make sure that we have enough fuel for tomorrow morning to make oatmeal and a hot drink, just in case we don't have a fire, since fires are sort of difficult to make up here. So let this sit here for a little bit, come to a rolling boil, and then we'll add it to our Mountain House meal and carry on from there. So our water has boiled, and we are now opening our packet of our home-style chicken noodle casserole.
opening spot.
Take out the desiccant packet. It doesn't taste very good.
It doesn't. And we've been 100% success rate in remembering to do that this trip.
There's our boiling water.
And that is boiling.
2 cups for this dish. You can smell it already.
And then
That smells like chicken noodle soup.
It needs a stir. Get the pieces all properly hydrating. And that's good enough. Put it in your other hand. And we'll close it up.
And we wait how many minutes?
4 minutes, and we give it another stir.
So we'll come back when we're ready to eat this delicious meat. So we've waited the number of minutes as indicated on the back of the home-style chicken noodle casserole meal. So now we're going to open it up and see what is inside. So there we have it. Delicious home-style chicken noodle casserole. They're nice and thick, ready to be eaten. So we're just going to enjoy this by our raging fire we have here,
Take
and
a bite, see how it tastes.
nothing outside there, but let's try some of this. See if we burn ourselves. Very good. Taste the bits of chicken in the noodle, vegetables, just enough salt in there too. I would call this meal a success. So we're going to enjoy this, and then we'll come back and eat our dessert, which I'm looking forward to. So we'll see you in a bit. So our water for the dessert is getting ready to boil on the fire here. We've got our raspberry crumble, and inside looks like we have 2 different types of packets. Sort of got a, what is this, chocolate cookie crumbs packet right here, and we have another one in there, which seems like the actual crisp itself. So this purple with chunks of
The raspberry sauce.
raspberry sauce. That looks really good. It's huge too. So you can actually hear the water getting ready to boil. So we'll soon be enjoying our crisp. Alright, so let's add the water here to our raspberry crumble. Looks pretty good. Do a bit of stirring action. This is to make the raspberry sauce. It looks pretty watery right now, but we'll see what happens once it rehydrates. It'll be measured just right. So we'll give it 5 minutes and we'll come back. Until then, we'll just sort of enjoy our nice fire here. Now, you probably can't see it. There are some quite the bright stars up there. So we'll come back and enjoy our crumble here in a few minutes. So we've got our chocolate cookie crumbs here. We're going to add them in.
They just go on top, I think.
The fire is still burning nicely while we're enjoying ourselves.
Oh, that thickened up nice.
Oh yes. Delicious looking raspberry sauce.
And instead of individual servings, we're just going to do it in the pot.
And we have a mass of cookie crumbs on top. It's like Oreo cookie crumbs. And there goes our trash into the fire.
Time to eat.
Time
Taste.
to eat. As my spoon has fallen in the dirt. Bits of mud.
Camping.
Camping. Guess we mix it?
No, get sauce and stuff. Keep them separate, but together.
Well, here's what we have. A mound of cookies with some sauce. Oh wow. That's good.
Really good.
It is a success. So we're going to finish up our cookie crumbles and then we'll just kind of head in for the night, go to sleep, and we'll catch up with you guys in the morning. So until tomorrow, good night. So, it's morning again. Unfortunately, our view has been spoiled by all the fog all around, so we didn't get to see much of a sunrise. But oh well, we're just getting ready to have our oatmeal and hot apple cider. But also, unfortunately, our gas canister has decided this is the time it's going to run out of fuel. So we're just going to have sort of tepid oatmeal, which you can see in our cider. So our oatmeal's got all sorts of interested fruits and grains and nuts and stuff, sugar, so we'll soak that in the water for a while, then we'll get back on the trail. But other than that, we're just gonna eat our oatmeal, pack up. It's about a 2.5 mile hike, sort of back out to the car, and that'll pretty much wrap up the trip. Just gotta break down camp, pack everything up, dry the tarps off, and then we'll go back to the car. So we finished with our breakfast of cold oatmeal and cold apple cider, and we packed up the entire camp. So my hammock was hanging between that tree and that tree, and we got our fire sorted in there, and he's doing the last of his rain fly. So leave no trace. We've accomplished it. The view is still quite foggy, but anyway, thanks for coming along with us on this trip. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We're just gonna hike the couple miles back to the car, and then, smelling like smoke, I'll drive about 8 hours back to Houston, where I'll go take a nice long shower and get a change of clothes. So if you guys like the video, please subscribe, and I'll be posting another one hopefully in April if I get a chance. So until then, thank you guys for camping. I'll see you next time.